Hey guys, welcome back to this week's Dark Avenger comic book review. We're concluding Marvel with 2 more books and then we're jumping into DC. First off, Uncanny X-Men 534. Don't
say it! Don't say it.
He already screamed last time, the last part.
I know you hate Emma. And
well,
the story starts off with, oh yeah, absolutely. Story starts off with Emma Frost and Sebastian Shaw still going at it. And then it jumps back to the X-Men who are now fighting against the Lobes. Then the people who are paying the Lobes, what would you call them? Donators.
They're donating to charity.
They're donated. It's not a charity. They're donating to the medicine that turns people into mutants.
To them, it's like a charity. Well, it's not really a charity, no.
The original mutants show up, and then the Lobe causes, because it's his fault they're all getting sick, he causes a reaction, but what he doesn't know is because he and everybody else took the X-Men gene thingy, whatever you want to call it.
Gene fold, maybe?
Whatever. They get hurt by it also, so he has to cure the X-Men to cure him and his beneficiaries too. And I love this. I have to quote. This is the only time I'll really quote. When something really awesome happens, I have to quote it, and this was definitely one of those awesome times. What you all wanted to know, this is Scott Summers. Risking death, people staring at you down a microscope only to find ways to rip you off, wipe you out, or control you. Pain and dealing with it. That's what it's like to be an X-Man. Go home. If you're this rich, give more money to charitable causes. And then I love Wolverine jumping in and saying, and the first person who asks for an autograph gets it cut into them. And he goes like this. The artwork was awesome with that.
That is nice.
Snick.
It's like a lesson to be learned there, sort of.
Well, in my mind, it goes.
Yeah. So anyway, in the end, the Lobe's like, couldn't we come to some kind of an agreement? Let's talk about it. And he's like, he goes to Angel. He's like, dude, just get your lawyers, and they're gonna basically sue the Lobe, and that's it. And then it goes back to Emma Frost, and she basically just completely erases Sebastian Shaw's mind. She beats him, and then she erases his memories.
Like a
so she doesn't kill him. In the end, she basically doesn't kill him. She just wipes his memories out completely.
She's still a bitch.
Still poor Sebastian, though.
And then in the next issue, which is actually the Uncanny X-Men 534.1, point 1 again, Magneto goes public, and they have a picture. The picture. Finally, Emma Frost is in the back where she belongs. So there's the point 1 coming.
Well, she's still in there.
Well, the point is, it's good she's taking the back seat.
I know, but she's still in there.
I don't know. So the point 1 is coming, and yeah, I'm going to be getting that point 1, unfortunately. Now we're going to get into the comic I've been waiting for.
I heard last week.
Jonathan Hickman,
no Flash.
Steve Epting, and Paul Mounts' introduction or reintroduction of Marvel's First Family, in a way. FF #1, I got the variant cover, which was the same price as the original cover. The original cover wasn't as good as the variant. And FF, it was fantastic, not to steal a phrase from the old comic. They're no longer called the Fantastic Four, it's the Future Foundation. Reed Richards' father is back. Spider-Man joins the team as per the Human Torch's request.
In a hologram.
In a hologram, yep. And the Thing is still having trouble coping with the fact that the Human Torch died because it was his fault. Spidey gets a grand tour of the Baxter Building, and the first villain finally shows up, the Sorcerer, and he disappears, and he's going to be a future threat.
That's just his name, the Sorcerer?
Yeah, the Sorcerer.
Oh.
So how did he get trapped in there?
Trapped him where? Where he was?
Yeah.
Who knows? It probably happened in a past Fantastic Four issue. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say so, seeing as they knew who he was.
Oh yeah, they tie a lot of things into it. Sue Storm is now the old Atlantis, considered queen, still.
So you kind of had to follow Fantastic Four to get
follows.
This? Well, you don't need
to get certain things, yeah, but not all. There are there are old enemies that show up, and the new enemies that show up. I love the Spidey costume. It was awesome. I love it. There's still the coping with.
Oh, that was so cool.
You see the family table and Spidey's eating.
Out of all the new costumes that Spider-Man's been getting, this is the best one.
I like it.
When they explain that the suit is actually made up of
things that can change to his own thought wave.
That are, what is it called?
They molecularly change to his thoughts.
Unstable.
With his thoughts.
They're unstable, so he can change it whenever he wants.
Yeah, I like they actually showed it. They showed him changing his costume. It's the 2 panels going
and
to the 2.
Her as well.
And she could change her costume whenever she likes as well.
They can all do it because of the material it's made out of. It's an unstable atom.
And then in the very end of the issue, Reed Richards is against this, but because his father, who's who saw the future, and his daughter want to do this. He agrees.
No 6.
They welcome Doctor Doom to the Future Foundation
Why did she
team.
call him Uncle?
Because he used to be a friend of the Fantastic. He used to be a friend before he became Doctor Doom. It's a whole thing. I don't know.
It's
I was
complicated.
confused by that.
And then they give you a little briefing of who's in this picture, who you're going to be looking at in FF.
Can you
The
see?
artwork was, I'll show you that in a little bit. The artwork was amazing. The new costumes, I like how Sue Storm explained the new costumes because Spidey asked what happened to the circle with the 4 and the thing in it. And she says that the world is black and white.
It seems like the world is black and white now.
The suits are 3rd generation unstable molecules, you were right. Yeah, but when did she say black? Where did she say it? Here. It feels like a black and white world right now, so now it feels like basically she did it because the world feels like a black and white world. What would you like to see?
Sorry. I thought this was kind of funny though.
What?
When he's trying to explain it, he says, so what happened to the blue, well, with the 4 and the circle thingy?
I just explained that.
That was funny though, the way he's trying to ask her.
And the little circle thing, yeah.
The little circle thing.
I think it's cool that Spidey's on the Fantastic Four. Alright, before I get into what I'm about to get into, and here's the cover for next month's FF. I like it, absolutely collecting it. It's great, it's amazing, and Spider-Man's now a part of the team, and he actually is with the FF now. So, I think it's great. I think it's amazing. I'm sorry, a lot of people are going to hate me for saying this because a lot of people are diehard Fantastic Four fans with, you know, the Human Torch and everything, but
I think
you know what?
off in the Fantastic Four, just a guess.
Just the fact that the Human Torch is no longer part of it, and I know a lot of people are going to hate me for supporting this, but you know what? I liked it, and I'm looking forward to future issues. Now, here's the issue that a lot of people are mentioning, and I agree. Okay, Spider-Man is now part of the Future Foundation, or the Fantastic Four. We'll call it, now they're called the Future Foundation, but we'll call it the Fantastic Four. Spider-Man is part of the Avengers. That's 2 teams. Spider-Man is part of the New Avengers. That's 3 teams. Now, I understand Ben Grimm is part of the Fantastic Four, the Future Foundation, and the New Avengers.
Spider-Man's a team player.
But Ben Grimm is only on 2 teams. He's not on the Avengers team. He's only on the New Avengers, and he's on the Fantastic Four.
So you think Spider-Man's
he's being put everywhere. He's on every single team now.
Yeah.
What I think they should do, since Ben Grimm is on the New Avengers, keep Spidey on the New Avengers and take him off of the Avengers. Why does he have to be on both Avengers teams? I mean, I understand it's like Wolverine. Wolverine's on the X-Men. He's on the New Avengers. Wolverine's just like Spider-Man.
Same complaint.
Wolverine's in the X-Men. He has his own title, but that doesn't count really because Spidey has his own title too. So we're skipping the solo titles. He's on the X-Men, he's in the New Avengers, and he's in the Avengers. So he's in 3 titles too. So really, you can't complain about Spidey without complaining about Wolverine also being on 3 teams. So that's the whole point. There are some superheroes are just bi-teamly or tri-teamly.
Chris, you want to talk about DC does the same thing kind of with Batman though.
Yeah, JLA, the Thunderbolts and everything.
So it's kind of like a new trend, I guess.
Yeah, whatever. But I think putting Spider-Man in the mix only made this better. The artwork was great. Jonathan Hickman, Steve Epting, and Paul Mounts. First issue was amazing. I hope that the Human Torch comes back at some point. But when he does finally come back, I hope they try to find a way to keep Spidey on the team. But they probably won't. And they'll probably go back to the blue costumes and everything. Well, you know what? Let FF stand like this for a while. And then after about 2-3 years, when we've had enough of FF, because I know it's going to draw thin after about 2 or 3 years, that's what, 12, 24, about 24 plus issues, then you could go back to some olden day things. Now we're jumping into DC Comics. Superman, Batman, 82. Batman's in the present trying to find out what happened to Superman. Superman is in the apocalyptic future and there's no sun. Once again, there's no sun. Every time Superman goes into the future, for some reason, there's no sun.
Everything with Superman lately surrounding around bleak, dark, or something.
No, there's just no sun. And Superman no longer has his powers because of that. But he wields a sword. So his sword has magical powers, and magic is now the big thing in this futuristic apocalyptic world. So you know Superman's weakness is magic.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I thought it was.
So now he has this amazing, powerful sword. Now he has no more powers. His powers are all derived from the sword. And I thought this picture was amazing with the sword, where he lifts up the sword and he basically banishes all of the demons away. That was pretty awesome. And basically now, this was disturbing. Just read that.
Oh yeah.
Wait.
This is
I'm not gonna say it out loud because I don't want
and
to
they use the Superman return symbol. If you
I
put
get
the
what
two
it
pictures
means,
together.
but I'm not gonna say it out because I don't want to offend anybody who might
That's
like.
disgusting. I'm sorry.
I know what it stands
That's
for.
creepy. He's the
Clint
witch
Curry?
boy, Amber.
You do know what that stands for?
What?
Two things. I really want to say.
I know,
it.
weird, right?
No.
No? Okay.
I hope
Makes
they
me
kick
think
his ass.
of
It's
A
the-
weird.
one
the
thing
spout,
specific, but it's a
the
stereotype.
throat
so
of the lady from Corpse Bride.
Yeah.
I'll say you off.
But
Oh.
that's a boy though.
I know.
Okay.
That's what
But it
the
is
boy
disturbing.
looked
Yes, I
like.
will agree with you.
I can't wait for Batman to kick his ass. Anyway, we're
No,
going
me
now
neither.
into Justice League of America 55, tying into the reign of Doomsday. And Doomsday's going after Boudica. In this issue, Boudica shows up and the Blue Lantern shows up. And it's a split story. They're continuing the Eclipso story where Eclipso's going after Jade, but they're going back to the tower where Supergirl, the black costume Supergirl, and Dick Grayson, Batman, are at where New Krypton used to be, and they're sifting through to make sure that everything is gone. And Doomsday shows up to attack Boudica. You'd think at first he's attacking Supergirl, but it's really he's attacking Boudica. And it turns out in the very end we find out why he's attacking Boudica. It's not because of Boudica that he's attacking her. He's attacking her for one specific reason. And by the way, the Blue Lantern is drawn amazingly in this issue. Thank you very much. But basically the end of this issue is split. The next issue of JLA 56 follows Jade, who now became an Eclipso, and the person that Doomsday is really chasing after is to be continued in Batman Superman Annual number 5, and it turns out it is the Cyborg Superman. For those of you who read Green Lantern Corps, the story before last, you know that Boudica trapped Cyborg Superman within her robotic consciousness, and now he's free. Who didn't see that coming? And the next part is in Superman Batman. They have the whole rundown here. What?
Who is this?
That's the Dark Beast.
Oh, okay.
So this is the whole rundown. It
That's what I thought,
basically
so.
goes all the way into Action Comics 900 and possibly beyond, as far as I heard. Next issue, it continues the Eclipso story alone, solely the Eclipso story. This is an amazing issue. If you don't want to collect JLA because of what's going on, or you don't like the team, that's fine. But if you want to follow the reign of Doomsday, JLA 55. The story itself was good. I'm hoping the Eclipso story picks up in issue 56.
Robin and Blue Beetle. It's pretty funny and super.
Don't ask. Supergirl, guest starring Robin and Blue Beetle. Supergirl 62. Yes, 62. They finally find out who this guy is, and he has psychic powers, and she's not sure if he's Kryptonian or not, but he kind of has like a heat vision thing going on. So it was really, really good thus far. It was a really good issue. The artwork was great. Supergirl tries to figure out, or tries to find the guy. She tries ways of tricking him, and it turns out that his zombies or his robots are run by Kryptonian sunstones, which gives them that extra boost of power. And Miss Martian shows up at some point, and it's just there's a whole knockout fight with them, and then it turns out in the end the guy's like teleported off, and they leave you off with this.
Seems like zombies and vampires. I mean, they're both for taking over
There's
comics.
no zombies or vampires.
No, I think you said zombies before.
No, I said they're
Oh,
robots.
oh, okay.
They're really robots. See,
Different zombies.
they're like cybernetic kind of robots. Blue Beetle and
Well, I just meant in
Robin and-
general. Okay, no, that's
Did Blue
zombies.
Beetle die?
Zombies and vampires.
The original Blue Beetle.
Oh, the original?
There's a new
no, there's
Blue
a new
Beetle.
one. Okay.
Yeah, they're robots. They're like
okay.
robots, cybernetic things.
Listen to zombies.
And
Come on.
Supergirl and Miss Martian go and get into a fight. So I like this issue. I like the story. Amber, you read through it. What did you think?
I liked it. I really did.
Anything you'd like to add about it?
I was confused a little bit.
About
I
what?
honestly don't know who the guy is. The
Because
guy-
you didn't read the issues before.
Yeah,
But you
so-
could tell he hates the superhero community. He wants to kill them and destroy
But when
them all.
they put him through that portal, and he's like, "But we don't have her."
And they're gone.
Yeah, and she's literally
Lying dead. It was kind of a
not
little
dead.
bit
She was
just unconscious. It's a little mixed up. It's a little bit mixed up. It gets a little mixed up in this issue, but yeah, it'll pick up in issue 63. I'd say it's good. It's a little confusing though. Finally, after a month and a half of waiting for this, and I thought I wouldn't get it because a lot of people said it was sold
Yeah, I was
out.
gonna say that.
Batman: The Dark Knight #2 is finally here. Batman confronts the Penguin, and he just pulls a complete Batman-ish way to get out of the whole gunfight. And then he gets finally confronts the Penguin, and I don't know. He all of a sudden he touches this amulet, and he goes into like a. I want to say it's like a. Hold on.
The Penguin doesn't play any of his usual games like he always does.
Yeah. He just goes he goes into like a blind rage and just like snaps 2 legs and an arm.
Whoa.
And then Killer Croc shows up and interrupts him, and some girl breaks into the Batmobile and steals it. And that's how it's basically
Killer Croc's
taken.
becoming an issue.
Yeah, and also Etrigan shows up.
I want you to go walk with me.
Etrigan actually shows up in this, and it turns out there's like some type of a demon problem that's showing up. Basically, in the end of this issue, Batman is strapped to a chair ready to explode, and they leave you off with that, and then Ragman shows up, and it's to be continued. I thought that was interesting. The issue is amazing. I can't wait to see the end of the story. He's still trying to find.
We just got wiped this
the Penguin. That was funny. He was on the TV. He's the one that put him in the.
Okay. So I know you'd be playing some of his mind games.
Basically, if Batman's heart rate and it goes any faster, it'll cause an explosion, and the bombs around him over here, the bombs that surrounding him will explode. The artwork is second to none. Amazing. I love the first story is kind of it's moving a little slow, but not that slow. It's moving at a decent pace. Now, the reason why I'm wearing this rig today, the next big event has begun in the Green Lantern world. Part 1 of War of the Green Lantern, number 64. Yeah. Krona attacks the Guardians, and basically Hal Jordan is still at the Book of Black, and all the Lanterns are being pulled into the book. And basically, him and Sinestro devise a plan where if both rings are like dead on each other, it would cause a huge explosion. And and Hal Jordan questions it, and Sinestro's like, stop questioning things and just do it. And it causes a huge explosion, which then leads into this, and the rings are all that's left. We don't know what happens to Sinestro, Carol, or anybody else. And then basically the Lanterns show up to take him back to Oa for a questioning, and it turns out Parallax is back in the power battery, and the corruption, the impurity is restored, and now everybody's being controlled by Parallax and Krona. And Krona now has all the Guardians possessed by all the entities, to be continued. I think that's awesome. Can't wait for the next part in Green Lantern. Now, the reason why this isn't the last comic is because we're now going into Green Lantern Corps 58, which is part 2 of the War of the Green Lanterns. Basically, we're with the Corps now, right after Sinestro frees Sora, and the impurity basically happens at the very beginning of this book, and everybody's under the Yellow Lantern's control except Gantha, who has a little bit of fight in him, and he's trying to take the rings off of Kyle Rayner and John Stewart, because that'll break the whole hold on them by Parallax. And he finally does get the rings off of him, and thank God, finally it wasn't somebody I was hoping it wouldn't happen to Kyle, and it wouldn't happen to Hal or Guy Gardner. In Emerald Warriors, they showed one of the Green Lanterns losing their hand. Big spoiler, guys. Oh. It turns out it was Gantha that loses his hands. The rings crack and explode, and Gantha loses his hand. Yeah, and basically the John Stewart patches him up, and he's like, you gotta run. They can't find you, but they can still find me because I'm still a Guardian. And basically all you see is Kyle Rayner and John Stewart running off, to be continued.
Pretty cool. Nice.
This war is awesome. It wasn't what I thought it was. You know, I really wasn't. It wasn't what I was actually thinking it was. I'm going to hold both of them up because I'm talking about both of them. I thought the whole thing was going to be Green Lanterns versus Green Lanterns, just without the impurity or being controlled by Krona. So basically, the War of the Green Lanterns to me seems like it's going to be the Green Lanterns versus Krona, or the Green Lanterns that aren't under Krona's control versus Krona and his lanterns that are in control. It's a whole thing. But it looks like, right now the story is really like up in the air. It has a lot of telling to happen. You know, a lot of things have to be explained, etc., etc.
A lot of action.
But it's amazing, and I can't wait for the next part, which is actually next week. Emerald Warriors is coming out with the War of the Green Lanterns Part 3. And with that, we have done this week. Amber, I need this comic a minute. Could you put it back in the plastic while I go through DC?
Yeah.
Okay, let's round them up. Green Lantern Corps 58, amazing. Check it out, but not before checking out Green Lantern 64, which starts the entire war of the Green Lanterns. They're all connected again, just like Blackest Night. So if you buy only one title, you're going to have to buy the other two for a little while, or else you're going to be missing parts of the story. Batman The Dark Knight 2, amazing. Great story thus far. Supergirl 62 is a little bit confusing, but still pretty good. Justice League of America 55, awesome. The Reign of Doomsday continues in this issue, great. Superman Batman 82, a little bit slow, a little bit weird at the very end of the book, the last page especially, but still good. FF number 1 was amazing. I cannot wait for FF number 2 next month, where I guess it's going to have more of a focus on Doom. But before we talk about Dawkins, let's get into the Uncanny X-Men 534, which was great. It was amazing, good ending. Minus the whole Emma Frost part.
Yeah,
X-Men 9, the artwork sucks, but the story is really good. Dawkins Dark Wolverine number 7 was good. It was amazing. Can't wait for the whole collision between him and X-23 next month. Wolverine Jubilee Part 3 of 4 is pretty good. Great miniseries. Uncanny X-Force number 6 still holding tight. The second story was a lot better than the first. Osborn Part 4 of 5. Will Osborn survive and be free? Great series. Check it out. Silver Surfer number 2 of 4. It was okay. Story's still holding pretty well. Good. It's a pretty good story. Ultimate Spider-Man. Ultimate Comics, Death of Spider-Man tie-in, Ultimate Spider-Man 156. The original artist is back, thank you God. Great artwork, but still, you know this series, the storyline is going to end bad.
Yeah,
but I'm loving the artwork. Sinister Six is back. 5 Ronin Part 4, 5 Psylocke, one of the weaker stories once again, but at least this time it had a crossover with one of the other 5 Ronins, Wolverine specifically, but Amber even says it wasn't that good.
No,
Astonishing...
not that.
What?
Just it's an awkward story.
Okay. Astonishing Spider-Man and Wolverine Part 5 of 6. It's been so long, you know, they keep taking breaks with the Astonishing Universe. And being honest, I can't wait for the series to be over. It's up to you guys with that. 114 still holding amazing. Check it out, absolutely. You only have to go 2 trade paperbacks back and 1 issue before this. Amazing story. I would absolutely say check it out. Spawn 205, finally you get to see Spawn 5. Check it out if you want. Invincible 78. Wait for the next issue where they'll be rounding everything out. Transformers Heart of Darkness number 1 leaves you like, we'll see where the next issue goes, if I keep it or if I drop it. Finally, Ghostbusters Infestation Part 2 of 2. Awesome. Best series in Infestation. Absolutely check that out. And with that, we are done with this week's huge stash of comic books. Next week is a very short week because it's the last week of the month, and all the comics I usually get are right here. So I got a huge stack here for you guys. So next week will probably be a 1-part thing with a new shirt possibly coming. I'm not going to give that away until next week when I get it, but I'm very happy about this new shirt. And we will, you guys will see that next week along with next week's comics. I hope you guys enjoyed this week. 2 parts. How long have we been doing this part?
23 minutes, 5 seconds.
Wow, okay, so I'll see you guys next week for another Dark Avengers comic book review. Take care, guys.
Later.